Hi, it's Keith from the Evangelical Free Church, Stony Stratford. And today we're starting a series of short talks with a Christmas theme. And the first one comes from a very unlikely place. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 24 and verse 17. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star will come out of Jacob. A scepter will rise out of Israel. Have you ever had one of those I never expected that moments? I remember Tracy and I had one when we were watching the Avengers film at the cinema, Endgame. And it's the moment when Tony Stark sacrifices himself right towards the end of the film. And really, out of all the Avengers, he's been the one that you would have thought was least likely to do it. When we first meet him in the first R-Man film, he's a very self-centered individual. But even if he's changed throughout the sort of series of films, it's a very surprising end to the film when he sacrifices himself. And this verse comes out of one of those moments. The prophet who makes this prophecy is a guy called Balaam. He's not an Israelite. He's been hired by the king of Moab when Israel had come out of Egypt. And he's been hired to curse Israel because Barak is very worried about what Israel might do to his country. Actually, they have no intention of doing anything, but he still hires this pagan prophet who has a nice sideline in cursing people to come and do the business. Well, to cut a long story short, the Lord tells Balaam to bless them, and he does. It's an unlikely turnaround, an unlikely sort of set of events, one you wouldn't see coming. But let's just look at this prophecy a bit closer. Balaam foretells, note the language, I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. This is about the future. And look at the symbolism, a star, a symbol of royalty in the ancient Near East. The mention of Jacob, the patriarch of the 12 tribes, and indeed one who Jesus is descended from. The picture of kingship that we see here with the mention of a scepter, and we actually see a picture of that in Psalm 45 where we read, and this is verse 6, your throne, O God, will last forever and ever. A scepter of justice will be a scepter of your kingdom. Interesting symbolism to start. But how does history treat this prophecy? Have you ever wondered how the wise men found Jesus in the first place? They said they'd seen his star. Well, the most likely explanation is this. The wise men almost certainly came from the east. We know they came from the east and the area around Babylon, or where that would have been. And Israel, of course, was exiled to Babylon and probably took the Jewish scriptures with them. And so Babylonian scholars would have been acquainted with this verse and would have understood the symbolism when they saw the star. But here's another turn of events, and it's this. The Bible refers to these wise men as magi, as magicians, not necessarily people who were acquainted with the spirituality of the Jewish scriptures. Yet they're the people who come. They're the people who worship Christ. It's a wonderful picture, isn't it, of how the good news of Jesus is coming into this world to save us from our wrongdoing is open to everyone. But this isn't the only place we see this symbolism. Of course, we've already seen it in Psalm 45. But just listen to this in Revelation chapter 22 and verse 16. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to give you this testimony for the churches. I am the root, the offspring of David, and the bright morning star. Here's Jesus at the sort of wrapping up of history. And here's again a link to this prophecy. Jesus, the bright morning star. They sort of herald, in a sense, of God's promises for his people in the future. The one who brings those promises to fruition and actually, makes them claimable. As we get ready for Christmas, it's going to be a lot of busyness, I know that. Let's have part of our mind on what Jesus came to do. To deliver us. To be a righteous and good king. If we focus on that, we will start to get this real meaning of Christmas, even in all the busyness that's going on at the moment. Thank you so much for listening.